All right, so let's talk about this raid a little bit more and see its significance in the war on terror in the region. Let's speak to Mwenda Mbijiwe, who's our security analyst, who joins us on phone. Mwenda, good evening and thanks for your time on Bottomline East Africa. We always value your analysis here. Let's talk about these two attacks by U.S. commandos in just a matter of days. This would be a shot in the arm of the war against terror, wouldn't it?
Yeah, thank you so much. Bottomline, I'm always glad to be back. I'm actually on my way to Moi University, Eldoret, to train them on counter-terrorism. Remember, the terrorists attacked Moi University about, this time last year, so they are getting ready and preparing the students. However, I think what we saw in Somalia, especially the commando attack, is a sign that shabaab is losing ground. Because remember, just after Westgate, following the Westgate attack, there was another attempted U.S. naval SEALs attack on the compound of the gentleman called Ikrima. And that attack was repulsed by al-Shabaab. But this one seems to have been very, very successful. And it's a sign that indeed the command and control of al-Shabaab is weakening if they could not ward off the foreign attackers. And so it's a good sign that indeed al-Shabaab is weakening, and I'm glad that they took down the men they did, and I can assure al-Shabaab, even if it's to the gates of hell, we will follow them and we will get them, each one of them.
Let's talk a little bit about the collaboration, because this was the U.S. commandos working in collaboration with Somali soldiers. That's definitely a step in the right direction in terms of empowering and enabling the Somali soldiers to actually fight the terrorists.
Yes, actually, I'm the kind of security analyst that has always advocated for a strong, well-equipped, well-trained Somali National Army, SNL, and SNA, pardon me. And the reason is, if we could equip the Somali National Army to the same lethality or a little bit more than al-Shabaab, then, we can have our troops come back home, and all the troops that have come from African nations returning to their nations. Of course, al-Shabaab is also emboldened now by their successful El Ade attack against an AMISOM embankment. That's the Kenyan military base in El Ade. And of course, you saw the catching of weapons that was stopped the other day in ICs in the Indian Ocean, ended to the hands of al-Shabaab, over 2,000 rifles. And so al-Shabaab is preparing to fight back, and if we can prepare the Somali National Army to fight more, I think in the right direction.
All right, Mwenda, these two attacks have revealed the presence of about 50 U.S. Special Ops troops who we now hear have been in the country on and off for a couple of years now, signaling the U.S. coming back to Somalia in a rather serious way in this respect. What does this tell us about the commitment from the U.S. in terms of fighting this war on terror? Of course, when we start taking a look at presence of U.S. troops or special ops, we remember Black Hawk Down, which wasn't a very good experience for the Americans.
Absolutely. I think what America has done since Black Hawk Down is have a very calculated approach to fighting, the warlords and the terror groups in Somalia. Of course, after the pirates began their menaces in the ICs near Somalia, you remember almost all the developed nations, France, Italy, United States of America, just put their naval armies on the high seas. They've been tracking and spraying pirates. Now, it's also from these naval offshore bases, which are mainly on floating vessels, the military ships. It's on these vessels that these special forces live and operate from. So even the helicopters that landed and dropped the men, and then they had the surgical operation, are all definitely from from the vessels in the ocean. And of course, they returned there most definitely. And remember, even Osama bin Laden was taken down by men who came from a vessel of the sea near Pakistan. So these are things that President Obama, it's a military strategy side, he said he'll never put his boots on the ground. Even in fighting ISIS, remember these are surgical operations carried out by special ops, and these are men who are able to execute an operation with speed and accuracy and quickly return without any injuries at all.
All right, finally, the Al-Shabaab have denied the first attack in which the U.S. says they killed 150 militants or thereabout that number. But Al-Shabaab says, well, those numbers are not real, that in fact, Al-Shabaab never has more than 100 troops in any one area at the same time, obviously, due to risks such as these of losing many people. What effect do you think these two attacks alone in the last couple of days has had on Al-Shabaab?
Well, I mean, it's also a battle of propaganda, and so Al-Shabaab, whether they are saying the truth or not, they're trying to counter what could actually be a demoralizing factor on them. And as you said in the report, if some terrorist commanders have been taken alive, we will know that in a matter of days. If some dead bodies have been taken, we'll also know in a few days, and we'll know by DNA test who these bodies belong to and what these kind of men are. Of course, I would be delighted to hear if it was Ikrima or these top commanders that have been taken down. And so, part of propaganda, evidence seems to be strong, but even when they are going down, sometimes they deny. They denied the killing of Osama for quite a while before they accepted. And so they don't want their fighters to be demoralized. As to whether they were there in few or large numbers, I mean, it's a question of how would the special forces go and attack a few men? I mean, they must have had credible information and launched the attack. So I would ask people to despise the Al-Shabaab propaganda story and treat it with all the contempt that it deserves.
Indeed, thanks very much for that, Mwenda Mbijiwe. It looks like Al-Shabaab are now on the defensive, having to negate some of those numbers out of that attack. Mwenda Mbijiwe, who's a security expert, talking to us about that commando raid, in fact, 2 of them in just a matter of days in Somalia.